Hey guys, Joshua here at saltyscales.com. I just wanted to take a moment to show you how to set up soft plastic baits, go over all the variety of hooks and the different sizes, colors of soft plastic baits. So hopefully this video tutorial will help you to be more successful with artificial. I have everything laid out, some of the things that I personally use. For example, here's some D.O.A Cal Shad. I got some of the Little Johns. I love Little Johns. And here are some Exudes. And I definitely do use Gulp. I'm very successful with the Gulp. But what this tutorial is mainly about is to show you some of the things that I personally use and am successful with, and also how to rig soft plastic baits. So, as you've probably seen, in the stores, there are a ton of different hooks and soft plastics that you could choose from. For example, here's a hook here with a pinch weight on it, and it has this little screw, corkscrew, that can screw right into the lure. Alright, here's one that has the same corkscrew on it, but it has a fixed weight on the hook, and that's to get your bait down a little deeper in the water column or give your bait a little bit more action. Then they have the regular hooks with you can not weight them. You can use just the weight of the actual soft plastic bait that you're using. So here's a hook with the screw. Here's a regular worm hook. This is Gamakatsu. I love Mission Fishing jig heads. This one particularly is a Mission Fishing jig head that you can make weedless. So these are pretty handy. They're not personally my favorite, but I do use them every once in a while. And here's just your regular Mission Fishing 1/8 ounce jig head. This one I use all the time. So let's go ahead and show you how to rig up a soft plastic bait. Start with the D.O.A Cal Shad here. So with this one, I would personally probably use the 1/8 ounce jig head when rigging up this particular soft plastic. So all you do is you put this at the top of your lure here, and as it starts to round, that is when you would pull the hook through the bait. Just push it all the way on. Now you want to make sure this is center, because if it's to the left or the right, it could create the lure, it won't have the correct action. But once you put the hook through, it should look something like this. Alright, so that's one of the easier ways to do that. Now, the same applies with the weedless bait, or the weedless Mission Fishing jig head. So you would just put it on, like so. Now as the lure starts to turn, you would pierce it through the back and try to get it as centered as possible. Push it all the way up on the lure, just like so. Now to make it weedless, you would take this wire, just put it on the hook, just like that. And when the fish strikes it, it pushes this wire guard down, and then the fish is able to be hooked. So it's a simple way to keep the weeds off of your bait. I notice that sometimes the hookup ratio is just not as good with these. So I mean, some people, swear by them. I use them occasionally. I'm not really big into them. So that's how you rig up with the jig head. Now I'm going to show you with the Exudes how to rig the Exudes up with these hooks here. Alright, so let's start off with the regular hook. This is your regular worm hook. It's a 4-aught Gamakatsu. And you want to pretty much do the same exact thing that you would with the jig head. First off, you put it through the top of the nose, just like this. And as it starts to turn, you allow it to come out the underside. Now with these Exudes, it's nice because they have these little slots specifically designed for the hook. They're on both the underside, the belly side, and the back side of these baits. So as you can see, I put the hook through. Now what you want to do is you want to pull the bait down. Now you'll see that there's this little 90-degree notch here on the hook. What you want to do is pull it and turn the hook like so. Alright, so you're going to get something that looks like that. Your hook's going to be coming out the side of it. Now in order for this bait to work properly, you want to, well, it's going to turn in just like this, just so you know. Alright, so you take this, you hold it here with your thumb, because that is ultimately where you want the entry point of the hook to go. So you're going to have to bend this lure just like that, press it through the back just like that. Now you see the hook, you can see it here. It lays right into that groove that I just showed you on the back side. Now what that does is pretty much makes this weedless. So, and that's what it's going to look like. Very nice, aerodynamic, glides through the water without being, hung up. So that's one way you can rig this. Now if you wanted to, you could add some weight to the lure by adding what they call a pinch weight. Now here's what a pinch weight looks like. Okay, so in order to add them, it's very simple. Maybe you want this lure, maybe you're fishing in 5 foot of water and you want this to have a quicker sinking rate. Well, all you'd have to do is take this pinch weight, pretty much do exactly what they're meant to do. Pinch them onto the hook. And they're very easy to manipulate or to bend. So what this would do now is allow it to sink at a quicker rate and give it a little bit more and different type of action. So that's how you do that. Go ahead and remove the pinch weight. Alright, so that's one way. Now here's the hook I showed you earlier. It's a Gamakatsu with the screw here and also the weight. So all you would do here, these are really simple, and I like these because they hold on to the bait very well. You would take this and you would just screw it right into the top of the bait, just like so. You would just screw it in and make sure you turn it to where the underside of the bait, or the hook and the bait, are like so. Now all you would do is you apply the same principle as last time. You grab where you want the hook to go in and you bend it. Alright, now you pull it up through the bait, through the back, just like before. And it'll come out the back the same exact way. And now you have a weighted bait with a fixed weight that won't fall off. It's a simple rig, and you just want to make sure that when you hook this, that it's not on the left or the right side, it's in the center of the bait, so that way you don't have twists and things in that nature. So that's the outcome there. Pretty simple. Alright, of course then you have the one I showed you earlier without the weight. Now it's the same thing. If you want it to float higher in the water column, or if you don't want it to sink as quickly, you would use this type of hook with a little corkscrew. Now it's the same thing. You see how I screwed that into the hook? Bring it down underneath the belly, pull the hook up, and you have the same exact thing. So, and that's how you would hook it without a weight or a pinch weight. So, nothing different there. You can rig these for bass, redfish, trout, all the same way. So, and a lot of this actually comes from the freshwater side of things, because this is how you would normally rig up, you know, a regular worm, a Senko worm. They've been doing this for a long time over on the freshwater side of things. You'll also notice these little hot heads. D.O.A makes these hot heads that you can apply. They go in like a lifelike type of eye that you can add to your bait, but they also come, they're functional as well. Some of them you can use for top water. You can also get a different type of action from these different types of lures. So let me open this, get one of these out of here so I can show you. So here's a little hot head, and you can actually apply these hot heads to most of these little baits. All you do, push it on here just like so, and looky there. Now your little bait has big eyes. Fish actually this might actually draw in, you know, more strikes, because it makes it a little bit more lifelike, and it gives it that little bit more, you know, different type of action. So when you're rigging these, you would do it the same way. You just put the hot head on your soft plastic bait and hook the hook right through the hot head. So for demonstration purposes, I'll redo this again. Just like earlier, you put it on, and as this starts to really turn, you pull the hook through the back, like so. Just push this right on. Alright, and then you're going to get something that looks just like this. So, if you want to add some, you know, flair to your lures, or a different look, that's all you have to do is use these hot heads. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. If you have any questions, just feel free to subscribe and comment either on my YouTube page, or you can go to saltyscales.com, and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you have. But other than that, these are the fundamentals of rigging up soft plastic baits. If you use these techniques, they should help you catch more fish. So thank you, and we'll see you on the water.